We just studied the Sutram 2.131. Let us now take the next Sutram in the Ashtadhyayi order, 2.132, which says Kartri Karane Krita Bahulam. Vritti says Kartari Karane cha Tritiya Krudantena Bahulam Samasyate Sacha Tatpurushaha. A padam ending in a third case affix, denoting either the agent or the instrument of the action, variously compounds Bahulam Samasyate with a syntactically related padam composed by adding a sup affix to a term ending in a krit affix, and the resulting compound gets the designation tatpurushaha. Of course, we know the adhikara of krit, the thing, which runs from 3.193 to the end of the third chapter of the Ashtadhyayi. So any affix which is prescribed in this section, barring the thing affixes, gets the designation krit. We also know that the adhikara of tatpurushaha running from 2.122 down to 2.222. So this sutram 2.132 isn't the adhikara of tatpurushaha, hence the compounds prescribed by this sutram get the designation tatpurushaha. We also know anivritti of tritiya is coming down from 2.130, which we have studied. And we also know the adhikara vibhasha 2.111, which runs down to 2.229. So the compounding prescribed by this sutra, which is in that adhikara, is optional. So we may also have a vakyam, a sentence, conveying the same meaning using the same terms as are in the compound. Okay, let's look at a couple of examples here. First one is Harina Trataha, Haritrataha, protected by Lord Vishnu. Now as per the Sutram 2.3.18, Kartru Karanayos Tritiya, a third case affix is used following the Pratipadikam Hari, which denotes the agent of the action. Steps are now familiar to us. The Alaukika Vigraha Vakyam is Hari Ta plus Trat Su, compounding prescribed by the Sutram 2.132, because we do have a Tritiyantam Padam Hari Ta, and Tritya Vibhakti is used here in the sense of the agent of the action, and compounding is being done with a Subantam Padam, where the Pradipadikam Tarata ends in a Krit affix. So conditions for applying 2.132 are satisfied. Now as per the Sutram 1.243, Prathama Nidrishtam Samas Upasarjanam, the term Hari Ta gets the designation Upasarjanam, because in the Sutram 2.132, which prescribes the compounding, the term Tritiya, which comes as Anuvritti from 2.130, ends in the nominative case, and hence as per 2.230, Upasarjanam Purvam, the term Hari Ta is placed in the prior position in the compound. Now Hari Ta Trata Su gets the designation Pratipadikam by 1.246 Krit Tadita Samasascha, because we have formed a compound. This allows 2.471 Supo Dhatu Pratipadika Yoho to apply in the next step to do the look elision on the sup affixes Ta and Su, which are in the compound Pratipadikam. Therefore we get the final compound Pratipadikam Haritrata. Now in the masculine gender, Haritrata declines like Rama Shabdaha. In the neuter, it declines like Vana Shabdaha. In the feminine, it declines like Rama Shabdaha. Of course, in the feminine, the form is Haritrata. We have to add the affix tap in the feminine. Similarly, we can form the compound Nakhair Bhinnaha, Nakha Bhinnaha, split by the nails. Here, as per the Sutram 2.3.18, Karatru Karanayos Tritiya, a third case affix is used following the Pratipadikam Nakha, which denotes the instrument of the action. Derivation of the compound Nakha Bhinnaha is similar to derivation of Haritrataha shown above. The note here says that the Paribhasha Krit Grahane Gatikaraka Purvasyapi Grahanam says that whenever a term ending in a Krit affix is employed in grammar, it also includes such terms as are ending in that Krit affix and preceded by either a Upasargaha, a preposition, or a Karakaha, a word denoting a case relation with the word ending in the Krit affix. Hence the following compound is allowed: Nakhair Nirbhinnaha, Nakha Nirbhinnaha, completely split by the nails. The term ending in the Krit affix is Bhinna, but as per this Paribhasha, we can also consider Nirbhinna na as a kridantam and therefore justify the compound nakha nirbhinnaha. Next comment here says kartrukarane iti kim. Why does the sutram say kartrukarane? It is to prevent compounding in examples such as bhikshabhirushtaha. Someone stayed because of alms, meaning that someone stayed in a particular place knowing that, thinking that he may get a lot of alms, bhiksha, in that place. The third case affix employed in bhikshabhi denotes neither the agent nor the instrument of the action. Hetavesha tritiya. It instead denotes the cause or the reason why that person stayed there. Hence the sutram 2132 does not apply, because 2132 says kartrukarane, and here the tritiya affix in bhikshabhi denotes neither the agent nor the instrument of the action. The next note here says Bahulagrahanam sarvopadhi vyabhicharartham. The mention of bahulam in this sutram tells us that all conditions may be relaxed. Sarvopadhi vyabhicharaha. Tena datrena lunavan ityadau na. Hence no compounding is allowed in examples such as datrena lunavan. Someone has cut off with a sickle, or hastena kurvan, making by hand, etc. And conversely, we sometimes do see compounding taking place even when the condition kartrukarane is not satisfied. For example, madena andha, madandha, blind on account of lust or passion. The third case affix used in madena denotes the hetu, cause or reason, and not the doer or the agent. But still compounding has taken place. The mention of bahulam in this sutra may be used to justify such compounds. And vibhaktyantaram api samasyata ityasyodaharanantu iti asya udaharanam tu padaharakaha. So vibhaktyantaram api samasyate, meaning sometimes a padam ending in an affix other than the third case affix does compound. For example, padabhyam viriyamanaha padaharakaha, something like sandals being removed from the feet. Riyata itiharakaha, bahulakat karmani nvul. The affix nvul used in harakaha irregularly denotes the object of the action. Padabhyam itya padana panchamyantasya samasaha. Fifth case affix and not the third case affix used in padabhyam, which has entered into the compound, denotes the apadanam, that from which detachment takes place, because something is being removed from the feet. So these kinds of compounds may also be justified by taking recourse to the mention of bahulam in this sutram. Here we don't have a third case affix at all, but still bahulam allows us to accommodate this compound. Next note here says that the mention of bahulam in this sutram may also be used to justify compounds like the following. Dharmaya niyamaha, which is a chaturthi samasaha. Dharma niyamaha, precept or a rule for dharmaha. When we study chaturthi samasaha, we will see that this compound is difficult to justify using sutram from the Ashtadhyayi. So we take recourse to bahulam mentioned in this sutram 2132 to justify this compound. Similarly, vamaditaraha equals vame taraha. So the panchami samasaha, meaning is other than left, meaning right. So vame taraha means dakshinaha. This is another compound which is hard to justify using a sutram from the Ashtadhyayi, so we take recourse to bahulam. So also bhuvi devaha, bhu devaha, saptami samasaha, meaning is like a god on earth. This one also may be justified taking recourse to bahulam mentioned in this sutram 2132. Now some grammarians use the technique of yoga vibhagaha, rule splitting, to justify the above compounds. For example, consider the last compound bhuvi devaha equals bhu devaha. We take the sutram 2140, which we'll be studying shortly, saptami shaundaihi, and split that sutram into two parts. Saptami as the first part and shaundaihi. So we make saptami as a separate sutram, and that sutram says a saptamyantam padam generally optionally compounds with another subantam padam. Hence we justify compounds such as bhudevaha. So we create a loophole to justify these compounds by splitting the rule into Saptami and Shaundaihi. This is another way out. So when you see in the commentary, the commentator is saying Saptami iti yoga vibhagad samasaha, you know what that means. That compound is difficult to justify using the sutram as it is. Therefore, you split the sutram into two parts to create a loophole to justify the compound. Now, some other grammarians justify these compounds by classifying them as being in the Sahasupa category. When we studied the Sutram 214 Sahasupa, we made the mention that Sutram 214 Sahasupa may also be taken as a Vidhi Sutram to justify those compounds which are like miscellaneous compounds which don't fit into any of the specific categories of compounds. So that is the third way of justifying these compounds like Dharma Niyamaha, Vametaraha, Bhudevaha, etc. So please keep these techniques in mind when you see them being used. You know what they mean. Okay, now the final note here says that why does the Sutram 2132 say Krita? Krita iti kim? Why does Panini specify Krita in this Sutram? Consider the example Kashtaihi Pachati-taram. There is no Krit affix in Pachati-taram. Hence no compounding takes place, even though the third case affix used in Kashtaihi does denote the Karanam, the instrument of the action. But since there is no Krit affix in Pachati-taram, the Sutram 2132 cannot apply because Panini says Krita.